So what's up, Lash fam, and welcome back. So today I'm here back with another video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our Lash fam if you haven't already, and if you're new, welcome to the Lash family. Today's video is going to be all about picking the right mapping styles for different clients with different eye shape, which I've been getting a lot of questions about, so I figured why not just go ahead and make a video about it. So I can share exactly how I pick the right style for the right eye shape, some do's and don'ts, and just a couple other lash maps that I think will really help you guys. So first and foremost, when you are picking out the style to put on an eye shape, you want to look at the whole shape of their face. So not just their eyes, but the whole entire shape of their face. So what I do first when my client comes in and they lay down, so what I do is I first look for the arch of their eyebrow. Because wherever the arch of the eyebrow is where the longest length of the lashes should start. If you are lash mapping, let's say like on your pads and you're drawing that out, you want to you can go ahead and mark that. So while their eyes are closed, you just measure where exactly the arch of their eyebrow is, and that's where you want to draw that mark, and that's exactly where you're going to start the longest length of those lashes. So when you're trying to now decide what style to choose, you can always start off with the basics, such as the doll eye or the cat eye, which is pretty much like your normal go-to pick for lash styles. And the reason for that is because they're probably the most simple and they're just pretty concrete and follow. Cat eye is, you know, the shortest length out to the longer length, and then their doll eye is kind of like the triangle style of mapping. So you'll have your shorter lengths on the outside, your longest in the middle, and then back down to short on the outer corner. But if you are going to choose in between those two lash styles, you do want to make sure that you are looking at the shape of their eye. So just remember, a cat eye is going to always look best on somebody who has smaller eyes or almond shaped eyes, as well as people who have a plane, where their plane of their eyes kind of sits straight, or they're not downward turning, but they kind of sit on a straight plane, or they kind of point up. Those are going to be your best bet clients, and the cat eye will probably most likely complement them the best. So my favorite cat eye map would be like 11, 13, 14, and then 16. But you can always, you know, adjust those lengths depending on your own liking and depending on the client's natural lashes. So you don't absolutely necessarily have to lash people with small eyes with cat eye, but that is probably what's going to complement best. A lot of people can pull off the cat eye, but I believe that it complements people best who have almond shaped eyes, or people who have straight plain eyes, or they have smaller eyes. So now on the opposite hand, a doll eye, and yes, a doll eye is just as equally as cute, guys, as a cat eye. I know a lot of people stay away and they typically just go straight to the cat eye, but no, the doll eye, try a doll eye next time on a client who has bigger eyes. So typically with people who have bigger eyes, I would give them a doll eye set. It means that the longest lashes are going to be in the center of the eye, which means that most of the focus are going to be in the center of the eye. That is honestly one of my favorite go-to looks for people with big eyes. I just feel like it really makes it complements the eye, and it really just focuses in on their eyes greatly. It complements them so well, and it also, the doll eye kind of gives you more of like a, I guess you can say like an innocent look. I guess that's why it's called a doll eye, but it does give you like a doll baby, more innocent, younger look in my opinion, because the doll eye is pretty much opening up the eye. So that's what the whole purpose. So somebody who has a bigger eye, you can, you know, draw more attention to their beautiful big eyes by opening that eye up. So my favorite go-to doll eye is 10, 12, 14, then 14 in the middle, 12 back down to 10. You want to remember, we're always going to have to go back down. So you can add as many different lengths as you want. Me personally, I just like to add about 3 to 4 lengths in my sets. Really can't tell the difference when you're jumping in between sizes, so you might as well just save yourself some time and just do 3 lengths. Back to the cat eye, the reason why I like to use 4 lengths is because I like to blend those 14s and 16s. When you get to that arch, I like to blend that out. It just looks a little bit better, and then, you know, that's why I do the 4 lengths on the cat eye versus the doll eye. So those are my go-tos when I'm doing a custom set for someone. So when you are doing a set, your longest length starts at the arch. With the cat eye, you're going to start blending at the arch. So like I said before, I like to do the 14s and the 16s at the longest part. So that's where I'll start blending. I'm going to start throwing in those 14s and the 16s, and I'm going to start blending my longest lengths on the cat eye at the arch. That way there's no droops, and it literally like snatches those eyes up. It naturally flows beautifully. And another tip I want to give with cat eye, if you have someone who kind of needs that really like to snatch those eyes up, what I like to do is sometimes I like to put a D curl on the ends that really gives it that illusion, and it like really snatches it up, because D curl is such a strong curl. So with the doll eye, when I was saying I do 10, 12s, and then the 14s, so the 14s are going to be where I have the arch. So it'd be 10, 12, and then the 14s I'm going to have the arch. So all the way up until the arch is where I'll have that 14. The arch, that's when I'm going to go ahead and drop back down to my lower length. Map that I kind of customize and I like to do myself is, say the person has really nice strong lashes around the whole entire eye. Another thing that looks really nice is when you do, let's say you do like 15s on all the longer lashes. So I'll go ahead and place all the 15s on all the longer lashes around the eye, and then on those shorter ones in between, I'll go ahead and throw in like maybe a 13 or a 12, and it really complements and it really looks really pretty. 13 and then have those 15s, and that's a really fun one to do. It looks really pretty. The two things that you always want to remember is start your longest length at the arch of the eyebrow, as well as always remember a small eye looks good, complements best with a cat eye, and a bigger eye looks best with a doll eye. So I pretty much always follow with the doll eye or cat eye method. I just typically will always change up my lengths in there, or I might make it a spiky set and then, you know, make the look different as far as, you know, a wispy set or a wet eye set or whatever hybrid set. But I normally typically follow those two lash mapping styles. So as far as length, you always remember it's 3 millimeters. You don't want to go 3 millimeters more than the longest length of their natural lash. So if your client's natural lashes are 10 millimeters, the longest length that you should be going is 13 mm. You don't want to ever really jeopardize like the health of your client's lashes. You always want to keep that in mind. Please make sure that you're following those few steps and kind of like those lash rules. So if you are new to lashing, and I hope I'm not all over the place, I hope you guys are following what I'm saying. If you guys need any more clarity or anything like that, you can always DM me, or you can just drop down a comment below, and I'm always reading through them and I'll always be able to help you. But like I was saying, if you are new to lashing, you can follow these maps and go ahead and just write down these maps down so you always have them. And I also too want to kind of touch on lash curls. So obviously there's B curl, C curl, D curl, there's DD now, there's CC curl, there's M curl, there's a J curl. There's so many different curls. So let's talk about the L curl, because I feel like L curl, a lot of people don't really like that curl. But the L curl is mainly, it was created for people who have very hooded eyelashes, or not hooded lashes, but have very hooded eyelids. So the L curl kind of literally looks like an L. So it pretty much goes like this and it curves out. So the reason for that is because if somebody has hooded eyelashes, that means their eyelashes are kind of pushed back. They need to show that length. So that kind of gives them that flat, it kind of goes out and then it stretches that curl out so that it could appear longer. So it kind of gives them a little bit more length with somebody who has like a hooded eyelid. Then we have C curl, which is your most natural curl. I like to use C curl for classics. It looks really nice. But my favorite curl is CC curl. It's a little bit more curlier than the C curl. I love C curl, and I like to mix, my favorite mix is CC mixed with D curl. So let's get into D curl. D curl is probably the most popular curl, I believe, like in the lash industry. A lot of people use D curl. It has a very strong curl, but it's not for everyone in my opinion. Because it's such a strong curl, it might give some people, if somebody already has really curly lashes, already remember, don't use a D curl. You might want to use something like a C curl, which is going to appear straighter because it's a straighter curl than D, and it's going to look a little bit longer. and that's going to help to extend that length because their lashes are already really curly, so it's naturally already going to sit up a little higher. So you want a straighter curl. That D curl might be too curly for somebody who already has curlier lashes. You might want to use that D curl on someone who has straight lashes. That's going to really bring up their lashes a lot better. So remember, if your client has naturally curly lashes, you want to use like a C curl. If your client has straight lashes, you want to go ahead and use that D curl. That's going to be very curled. And you'll notice, like, if you put a D curl on someone who has already very curly lashes, like me, I have very curled lashes. Like, they're literally like super curly. I do not look right with D curl. D curl gives me like a very surprise elf look. That's what I'm saying. So you have to pay attention to the client's eyelashes, examine their face, examine where their eyebrow arches, and you're going to be fine and your sets are going to look beautiful. If you have a client that has like neutral lashes, so they're not very straight or they're not very curly, you can go ahead and choose whatever curl you would like, any curl. So I like to play around with CC curl. I feel like CC curl is the perfect balance between like natural and curly because I don't know, it's a little bit more curlier than C curl, which is more straighter, but it's not as curly as D. I just feel like it's the perfect curl. That's just me, but that's my absolutely favorite curl to use. I pretty much use CC curl on pretty much anyone, and it typically looks really well, unless, you know, somebody wants that very much dramatic curl, then I always resort to D. And another tip with that is your D and D curl, D plus curl, and your DD curl is going to look a lot shorter than your C and CC curl because it is a stronger curl, but it is the same exact length. So if you have a 13mm C curl and a 13mm D curl, it's going to look like that D curl is shorter, but it is not. It's just a stronger curl, so you're not really able to see that full length. Okay guys, so I hope this video was informational. I hope it helps you with your lash styling and your lash mapping, as well as knowing what curl to choose. But if you guys have not already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you're not missing any of our weekly uploads. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time with something new.